And here we are. We're back. We're now with Tobias Lorenz. Thank you,
Hey,
Tobias,
hey,
for
yeah,
hanging
yeah,
out
good
here
to
with
be
us
here.
and taking this call and everything. And he's the co-founder and creator of glovico.org. Hey, Tobias, just like like Robert Scoble does, a lot of people that sees us. Well, I have to ask you first. Can I show your startup and whatever you say to me in online media, my YouTube channel, and everything else, please?
Yes, of course, I'll be happy.
All right, thanks, Tobias. And as I was saying, please tell us a bit about you, who you are, what's your background, why are you doing this? Are you crazy? You're a German guy in Chile, and what's up? I mean, tell us about you.
Well, whenever you start up a small social business or a business in general, you got to be somehow crazy, I assume. I'm not kind of testified crazy yet. Hopefully, I didn't check in the last 2 months, but yeah. So I'm in the heart. I'm German. I'm from Germany, but moved to Chile with the Startup Chile program 2 months, 2.5 months ago. For those of you guys who don't know Startup Chile yet, it's a program by the government who gives basically $40K for free for startups as long as they relocate to to still Chile
Hmm.
for half a year. So a great opportunity for whomever is bootstrapping their business out there.
Great here.
My background is more on the linguistic side. I come from languages,
Hmm.
which makes sense in the business in the startup I am in, which is a fair trade language school where people from developing countries teach their mother tongues via Skype. So with Glovico, you might have a Spanish teacher from Guatemala, a French teacher from Senegal, an English teacher from Kenya. Yeah, whatever you're looking for. Apart from the big languages, we have a whole lot of languages. We currently have more than 30, with a particular focus on smaller languages like Wolof, Swahili, Burmese. So whatever weird language you're looking for on Glovico, you might find a tutor who's teaching you it. Yeah.
Wow. So what's the elevator pitch in 30 seconds? Globico, it's like the fair trade language startup.
Yeah. Basically. So as I said, we have all these tutors. Currently, we are working on making the move from tutoring to teaching, as we call it. We want to add some
Mm.
additional teaching material to the platform that the tutors can use. There will be vocabulary features, kind of a flashcard-like thing. Yeah, we've been around for a little more than 1.5 years in the meantime. We already got quite some traction. We are doing like 500 lessons per month.
Mm.
Global audience. Our students come from all over the world. Our teachers as well. So it's really an inspiring crowd, an inspiring community that we got together there.
Interesting. Who
And
are
yeah,
the
we are looking forward
co-founders?
to realize our vision, which is to become the largest fair trade language school of the world.
Wow, that's great. Who are the co-founders?
So I'm down here in Chile with Katharina Czarnecki. She has a consulting background, is currently also getting an MBA from Columbia in New York. And we have another partner in New York, also at Columbia University, also a business background, but also coming from a very international background. And yeah, I myself, I have both the business background, particularly from looking at entrepreneurs in Africa and working with them, as well as the linguistic languages background, which gives me kind of a good skill set to both look at didactics and all this stuff, which is very important, obviously, in a language teaching startup and the business side.
Interesting. How many people work today in there? Just the three of you, or do you have like more employees or part-time people working with you, or how does it work?
Yeah, so at the heart, it's us three, but then we have an assistant in Hamburg who
Mm-hmm.
currently does the day-to-day work that still kind of comes from having started out in Germany. She's with us part-time. We have another student who's kind of working on a student part-time basis, doing social media, doing blogging, outreach, all this stuff. And we have a developer who's part-time developing for us.
Interesting. All right, tell us, how does it work? Come on.
So very easy. I mean, signing up is totally simple. You get a free trial lesson then, so you just check out the tutor on your site that you like best. They all have ratings, they have feedback from past students. So you choose whom you like best. You go on his timetable, you check Wednesday morning, 9 a.m., that suits me, I'll book that lesson. You book it, you get an email telling you that you have booked, and you just have to be online on Skype at this point in time, and he'll give you a call, and he'll specify whatever you wanted to do in that lesson. You might even send him some stuff up front that you wanted to particularly focus on in the lesson. If you, for example, I'm currently moving into Spanish a bit, being down here in Chile. If you wanted to strengthen your subjuntivo a bit, you might just send him an email up front and saying, okay,
I'd like to try this
subjuntivo
out.
is not my special strengths. Let's run a lesson on it, and that's what he'll do.
Wow. All right. And in order to get registered, I'm just checking out the form to become a teacher. Do I get some sort of evaluation or something before coming in, or who evaluates that when I'm a newbie?
Yeah. I mean, screening teachers up front is a crucial part of the whole business. There's other platforms who kind of where everybody can sign up, and we say no. There has to be quality control. So we run interviews with all of our teachers. We get a test lesson where we ask them to teach their languages to us. So we get a basic understanding of their teaching approach and if it fits Glovico. Then each of the teachers gets a teaching guide to see how the Glovico methodology works. And that'll be also a part we are currently working on, and that'll be stronger in the future still to give it kind of all the tutors a very common feeling, a very Glovico feeling of how to teach. So that's something we are already strong at, but we still want to become even stronger at.
Interesting. It's amazing the segment that you're actually attacking. I'm actually seeing, dear teacher, please note that we do not admit teachers based in Europe or the US. So, and you have some
Yeah.
guidelines over there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are looking for a particular demographic profile on
Uh-huh.
sides of the teacher to make sure that we also live up the fair trade approach that we have.
Awesome. Awesome. You have like tons of competitors, thousands or hundreds of them. Who are they? Who are the main competitors? But for this specific segment, I really don't know. I none come to my mind right now.
So for fair trade, there is basically none around. And but if you're looking at online teaching in general, there is the big ones like
Yeah.
Live Marca. You
Mm.
might look at iTalk. You might
Cinco
even
en
look at a
punto.
little bit smaller ones like Verbal Planet, who started out basically more with a tandem thing. So everybody could sign up, everybody could learn from everybody, and are now trying to move into that premium segment where they also have tutors that charge people for teaching. But they don't. I mean, they don't have professional tutors. That's the biggest problem that I see at the moment. They don't have what we are currently working on, a real good curriculum, a real good teaching material to give their tutors a hand with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that would basically the competitors, and which amazed me down here in Chile in the Startup Chile program. We met a student of ours, and we didn't know she was here before, and we didn't know her from before. And she said she'd been window shopping around with all the other platforms that might exist,
Mm-hmm.
and she said we were kind of the most efficient, the German ones, the German one amongst the language schools. And then also our teachers kind of took up the German spirit and being reliable, being online when you have your lesson and structuring the lesson according to your needs. And that's really what makes the difference in online teaching, I think.
Interesting. Really, really interesting. And what's the vision for Glovico? Where are you going? Where do you see? I know it's technology, right? So in a year, where do you see yourself? What's the
Well,
vision for it?
we definitely want to become the world's largest fair trade language school, and we hope to be on the way to become profitable. Let's say beginning of next year, maybe mid of next year, and then really taking growth from there. I mean, it's still I'd say a blue ocean market, so there's
Lots
way
of
too many ways to
possibilities.
grow almost.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey, and what motivated you to do this? I'm just checking out the team section in here. You actually went
Mhm.
for a trip or something like that, and you really focus on social entrepreneurship, so which is like really weird for me now. I mean, I've interviewed like a lot of people right now, and this focus is really interesting.
So the thing is, I was in Eritrea, and Eritrea in Africa is really a very special country. So it's the North Korea of Africa, basically socialist dictatorship, but was once amongst Mussolini, the only Italian colony in Africa, very advanced then. So the people there still have all this feeling of being one of the foremost countries in Africa,
Wow.
but have been really rotten down by the socialist dictatorship and are pretty poor at the moment. Nonetheless, you have still this very broad and strong skill set. So when I was there, I was pretty impressed by people that have all this knowledge, all this Italian tradition of crafts and arts, but not being able to really capitalize it due to the political environment. And that inspired me to say, okay, it can't be that we have all this talent around Africa, but no opportunity to make a living from it. And it was then that I started writing on the business plan, and yeah, it really was my call to action, seeing poverty in that environment.
Wow, amazing, amazing story. And how are you making your money? I see that you have like the platform in euros and dollars, and they charge for the hour, right? They charge through your platform, or how does it work? Because I see that they get in touch via Skype. So,
Yeah, yeah. So the basic business model is very simple. We charge a commission of €2 per lesson to the teachers.
hmm
Um, we pay for the money transfer, so getting the money to them. We even offer a free trial lesson to new students that we still pay to the teachers. So that's all very fair. And what we've seen so far is that this also makes, well, doesn't give us a lot of problem with shirking. So people would still stay with us and pay through the platform after having encountered their tutor because they support the mission. They think this is a fair way to price, and yeah, so it's been really an asset to not be only a business, but more than a business, a social business, a fair trade business.
interesting. So that's actually what keeps you making money. That's great. And you were talking a bit about the metrics that you have right now. You said that you have some traction. Can you just repeat the metrics that you're using in order to check the real to make the reality check if you're making money soon enough or something? When?
So what we are, or our key metrics is the number of lessons we do per month, and currently it's round about at 500. Now that fall is settling in Europe, it's growing. So we see typically we have a season in summer when it's warm outside. Nobody would want to learn a language via Skype. Now that fall is coming in, people are coming back for the lessons, and yeah, so the number of lessons is our key metric, definitely.
Interesting, interesting. And how are you just passing along the word that you actually exist, or what's your strategy in order to attack which markets? Since this is like really global and it's fair trade, so how are you putting Globico in people's minds? You know?
So I mean, with a venture like that, having a social mission, social media is obviously the stronghold of ours. No, Facebook, Twitter. We have a community of bloggers that love to write about us. We are currently crafting a partnership with some NGOs. So yeah, just community building. We don't want to spend a lot on marketing. We want to keep the marketing overhead pretty low in that respect.
Mm. Wow. Did you get any funding, or everything was bootstrapped since the very beginning? Besides Startup Chile, obviously.
Yeah, bootstrapping. We got some prize money. So and awards obviously also are good marketing. No, you make a little money that you can put into the business, and you get the word out there. So yeah, we've been bootstrapping, definitely.
Great. All right, so I'm gonna let you go after this question. One more, and that's it, Tobias. You know,
Pleasure.
some investors are watching the people that's being interviewed. Are you eager to get like well, two more questions then? Are you eager to get investing from someone or not? Besides what you're doing right now, because of the social mission that you got, and maybe you're thinking about growing organically instead of being pushed forward via, you know. venture capital or something. And I'll tell you the last question later on. Answer this one, please.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So indeed, we are looking for money at the moment. We are looking for $250,000, but we are pretty picky about who we're taking the money from. So we had VC interest, which we found not fitting our mission, our organization. We are looking now at a mixture more of crowdfunding to strengthen our community, and private angels that have a clear alignment with the mission. And social investment is pretty big in Europe right now, also in the US. And we have we have more than half, more like 75% of that committed already, and hope to find investors for the other part still.
Wow. Those 250K, you're gonna use them for growth, for the platform, for... I'm just being intrusive here.
Yeah. What we want to invest in most is teaching quality. So teaching material, teacher trainings, redeveloping the platform to make it a little faster. We feel it's a little slow at the moment, so that's something we want to invest in. Obviously, a part of it will go into marketing, but it won't be the biggest part of the budget.
All right. So here comes the last question. You are an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. I mean, and with a social focus, which is like really interesting. And what's the lesson that you have learned while building Glovico that you would like to share with the world right now? Maybe there's another guy that was thinking, hey, I want to do a startup, and it has got this social end or focus. What would you tell him? Is it worth it? What would be the tip? Hey, beware with this, beware with that. What would you suggest? Or what's the lesson that you have learned that you could pass over to someone that's actually hearing you right now?
My problem is probably rather that I've learned too many lessons, on the way.
All right.
So
two, not
one
just one.
lesson might be that everything takes longer than expected. That it's a marathon, not a sprint. I come from running, from sports, and in the beginning I thought you just put that website online, you do a little bit of social media, and the thing is flying. But it is hard work. It is hard work, and nonetheless, it's the biggest fun ever. No, you're doing your own thing. You might have a slope once in a while and think, oh God, why am I doing this? But 90% of the time, you know what you're working for. It's your own baby, and that's just amazing. That keeps me awake every morning.
That's awesome.
At night.
Without sleeping. Hey, if someone wants to contact you, where can we contact you? Do you have Twitter or an email that you can share? So
we have Twitter, that would be Glovico. We have Skype, that would be Glovico as well. We have my email, that would be tobias@glovico.org. We have the website www.glovico.org. So all channels open. Hit me, guys.
Great. Tobias, thank you for this interview. A big hug over there to Chile, and you got a friend now here.
You got a friend down here. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
You as well. Bye.
Ciao.